Welcome to Shweta's Talkies Season 1. Let's chat and have some fun. People, their lives, their struggles and their joys. Faces, their truths and their beauty. Things of value, not price. I'm old school and I'm blunt. I like to explore things. I like to explore people and their emotions, places and their truths. Join me for Shweta's Talkies. Today at the Shweta's Talkies studios, we have Mr. Jagannath Panda. He's a multidisciplinary artist. It's been 40 years. He has showcased and participated and been proud of his work globally. I'm very happy to have him here and get to know him a little bit. Of course. Mr. Panda, you've been doing this for 40 years. When did you first decide that you want to become an artist?
You know, way back in my childhood, I remember first inspiration, I got it through image maker, like Ganesh, Saraswati image, idol maker. I never knew that I want to be an artist. I don't know when I thought like I'm completely artist. I'm still learning. I'm still curious about the material, curious about the ideas and understand myself and the nature around me.
Were your parents artists? Or is it just you?
My father's a different story. So myself migrated to Delhi. So my father migrated from village to Bhubaneswar. So my father was based in the temple. He moved to Bhubaneswar and joined as a very, accountant training school in a very small job. We are a four brother, two sister.
So you started what? Sketching on paper? You started working with oil early? Were you just doodling around? When was the inception?
Very early as I started to making a lot of drawing. My first inspiration, I think, is Chandamama illustration.
Chandamama.
The Bikram Betal story.
Yes.
The design, the drawings, it's a monochrome, so nicely been done. Young boy reading the Chandamama and imagining this whole fantasy world about the Bikram and Betal. So I think that's the first ideas
inception of being an
understanding
artist.
art. So I started to copy all this imagery, Ramayana story.
And you copied on what? Little books?
My father used to bring like a small sketch paper, so I used to draw whatever form. That time I never knew there was a sketch pens, color pencil. Suddenly I found a little color pencil in somewhere I was moving. So first time I saw that the color pencil, I always seen that color pencils are like a black.
We used to have camelin colors those days, you remember?
First time I exposed to the color when I got a children art award from Lalit Kala Academy. Poster color bottle, one brush and one.
What colors were they? Poster colors?
Poster
Do you
color,
remember them?
Black and white.
Black and white.
And it is so exciting, and I can tell you that moment
You were home.
Yeah, bringing back and exploring this color. I never seen that, like crayons and all. So later stage, I learned through the image maker. Just close to our house, there's a little market. Idol maker used to visit there, and during the puja time, and I was passionately observing how they bind with the straw and clay covering and all the process.
You went on to showcasing Tokyo, Mumbai, New Delhi, London, Berlin, San Francisco and a bunch of other cities that I have no idea about where all you went. You now have a little foundation called Utsav Foundation. Could you tell us a little bit more about it?
2011, I started this trust, supported with other friends of artist friends.
Lovely.
And it's a different genre of practice, intermingle, discussions happen. That's badly needed in Odisha.
It's badly needed in Odisha. It's culturally so rich, up-to-date working modules which showcase the art form back from Odisha.
Exactly, because what happened, Odisha has a lot of talented artists. There's a critic said, Jagannath, your state is beautiful, artists are there, but they don't know what to paint. They are good painter, but it's really triggered me a lot. Why can't we have a poet or a kind of critical thinker or artist or filmmaker?
You're running an organization, and I think a lot of artists do struggle with the gore of business, and it happens because they're creative people. I hope it comes to a space where you're able to crack that now and move ahead.
Mostly residency artists we invite from outside of Odisha, so connected with the art institutions around. So one day or 2 days they go there and they do some kind of demonstration program and talk, meet with the students and talk about their stories. Our young student artists, they need to get exposure to what's going on around the world, because the institutions are good enough to teach all kind of skill, but that particular skill they need to use in a right directions on,
Fair enough.
find out a subject or put them in a right way. So that's why there's a lot of it's a lot of students, they come to me and they really wanted that kind of space to be, and we helped a lot of students from our young artists, and they are really doing good in Delhi, because it's a very self-supported space, supported by the artists, run by the artists. It's a very unique space by itself. 2011, our Chief Minister offered me a little space in Bhubaneswar.
Lovely.
So it's a government quarter. So it's a very tiny, very cozy space. We have a residency, 1 or 2 artists can live there. There's a library, there's a studio space, and very nice garden. So generally we do there a lot of discussions, live presentations.
Lovely.
And all that.
Going back to your, we spoke earlier about your earlier days where you picked up your colors and sketch pens and started painting and sketching. What part of Odisha still lives in your artworks?
The way I learned from different teachers, as a student, young student, like let's say Dinanath Pati, Chandrasekhar Rao, my own teacher like Devraj Sao, he taught me how to handle the clay. He's a fantastic terracotta artist. Chandrasekhar Rao is a fabulous Indian painting artist. They know how to handle colors and materials so beautifully. So after that, I moved to Baroda MS University. Then the serious understanding of contemporary art started.
Whether it is colors or textures, what kind of a hangover you still have which permeates through all your artwork?
I would say not a single thing I can address, like only the potter painter, but the essence of potter painter, like a very meditative. The terracotta artist, the way they handle, our textile artist. Every indigenous art forms and the crafts they have a unique energy and a skill that's always imbibed, but I cannot differences or distinguish my art practice or influence seriously in a particular form, but essence of Odisha I could say through observing the temple sculptures. When we were a student, we used to go to the Rajarani temple.
Yes.
We used to sketch the different sculptures, the way they've been carved and all. So again, later stage also I started to learn stone carving.
Oh, you learned stone carving?
Carving.
What stone is this?
Those are the condylite stone, local condylite stone, and the granite and the soft stones, the green stone that you can see generally our traditional artists, they use the sculptures. I remember first soft stone work, I thought why not I can make a sculpture which using the frog as an element, because it's a green stone with a lot of texture. When I carved the frog around the stone, it looks so real and so beautiful. It's a surprise to using the quality of stone and choosing the right subject, because it's all naturally come to us through learning here and there.
You get continually impressed, you want to try something new. Has that, where are you now versus if I had to take your oldest artwork and your newest artwork, what are the changes you would say that you have done? Forget about what I look at.
One artist will travel through different ideas, material influence and exposure to the world. It's a long journey, understanding each time you make something new, you are like a beginner, you are just learning.
Oh, lovely.
And someday somebody asks me, तुम क्या खुशी के लिए काम करते हो? I said, मैं खुशी से काम करता हूँ. I was just play. But whatever you do, you should enjoy. For an artist, you need to be very natural. You need to be responsive to your surrounding and your influence, and see that a lot of magic can happen through your work. It can happen through the material, it can happen through your drawing and metaphor, it can happen through your spontaneity or response. So all that magic can, an artist can celebrate.
So, what is your favorite medium to work? If there was no pressure, there was no client, there was no inspiration per se that you have to deliver on, what would you pick up? What's your favorite medium?
I think the watercolors are beautiful.
Watercolors?
I love watercolor. I studied, by the way, I studied sculpture.
Oh, you
I
did?
did my sculpture in the BK College of Art as a graduation, and the post-graduation in Baroda MS University. That also I did as sculpture. Then I moved to Royal College of Art, London.
Okay.
And, after receiving this in lakhs award. So that's also sculpture. So, but I always loved watercolor as a medium. So what happened in 96 to 98, I did a series of watercolor with a collage.
Okay.
That became my signature language. The first show happened in Delhi.
I see.
All series of collage and watercolor, and I enjoy watercolor a lot.
Of course, oil paintings are expensive, right? When you go and take art, or is that a wrong thing to say? Consider me a dummy.
My struggle through my different education, the money and the funding is a very biggest challenge, because my father supported very little, whatever he can, but a lot of moral, his spirit always taken me in a different stage. Studied in Baroda. I have used wood as a medium, and
You
clay.
used?
Clay, terracotta, and the ceramic as medium. Not because I was loving so much, because it's a free availability of material.
I see.
Sculpture, making something in the wood, because the fine arts faculty have so many wood logs are there, so they used to provide free wood sculpture, material to the student. But watercolors are such a paint like a poetry, so sensitive and fragile itself.
Oh, nice.
You can build a lot of things around it. That's why I enjoyed watercolor a lot. Nowadays I'm making work with the acrylic, and the fabric is the biggest, very important medium in my work.
You've been, it's been 40 years. How has it changed now with the advent of new technology, support of inspiration? You get inspired from everywhere.
Exactly, right.
How do you preserve the sanctity of handmade art? And has this new world given you more fuel to your imagination, or you think you see yourself reflecting back?
Obviously, art world moves very rapidly, and I can say in a very positive way. The diverse art practice, students, young artists are doing fantastic work all over the India. The art market itself is bigger now. The artwork became bigger than the artist. Something surprise, something articulate, because it's all between hand and the head.
The
and
romance
your,
between
heart,
your hand and your
heart
brain and your
heart. These conversations are so beautiful. Now you see there's a lot of young artists, so much bombarded with print set imageries. Recently I was invited by university, Chitkara University in Chandigarh. At 20-30 students I interacted. Last two days I produced like almost 24 feet long mural painting with it's such a phenomenal experience. Inspired from around, I send them around. I say, you're interested with the making drawing with the plants and tree. Do you know how many trees and plants around your university? He says, no. How many years are you here? You go and do some sketching and come back. They come out of such a beautiful experience. And then all that we painted on a large canvas.
Wow.
Everyone's surprised. It's how that magic happened. Because the student, they never have exposed to come together and paint something. Because it was a challenge for me, because artistic practice is such a personal and such a egocentric practice.
Yes.
Nobody wanted to enter each other's space. That I wanted to break that idea. That's why I experiment. You know, there's a third workshop I conducted personally. It's a kind of amazing, bringing art, you know, art students together to do something.
The way we guys reacted to art or were inspired is a little different. These guys are inspired differently, which is absolutely wonderful. I mean, you get they're a lot more carefree about it. And as I'm a nobody in the art field, but as just a bystander, the new age art, digital art world is like a whole different thing. I don't think we had that then. When was your first artwork sold that you got paid for, that you're very proud about and you'll never forget?
I was a student in BK College of Arts, second year. One of our favorite teacher, Dinanath Panda, he used to do, every year we used to have a festival called Chitramela. And small collage, I sold it, 20 rupees or something.
20 rupees.
So
how big was it? It was a baby collage?
No, big.
That's a big collage.
So it's a 20-30 rupees or something. But it's very good. But the happiest moment when I started to receiving award, first at Lalit Kala award, after returning from Japan. So I did a series of painting. Somebody bought my series of artwork, like 6 of them. Even I'm looking at those drawings. It's all been collected in a very good people. They acquired that it's a collectible. It has a value and all that stuff.
Is there a difference between how the guy who buys your artwork perceives your artwork versus how you do? Is there a difference there, or do you usually think, okay, I'm going to create this artwork, this one is going to definitely sell? Do you have that ever? Have you been?
No, artist.
Have you been proven wrong on some of your artwork?
See, what proving me wrong is my studio lighting, because sometimes I didn't like my painting in my studio. I thought it's supposed to be this colors and all. When I go back to the gallery, I was say, wow, I loved it, because it's. I'm glad I didn't change that color. Timelessness in the art, you can see. Any time you see there's something new and something surprise. Look at the temple like a Konark. Whenever whenever you go, it's
something
always
new.
Something new, something contemporary, something, because there's a timelessness is there. Art also always carry that. This time and energies and manifest together.
Why is entering the art world so intimidating for people who just started out? People, young artists, I often hear them saying, I want to be an artist, but I'm a little scared. The whole concept of networking when you're an artist, ये काफ़ी लोगों का डर रहता है. I think, especially जो नए आए हैं. Why is it so intimidating? वो किस बात का डर होता है उनको? Young artists, they think they have to navigate this whole art world space, right? डरे हुए होते हैं. What would you tell them?
No, I think the present generations are not very overconfident, I can say. But our generation, we are like a डरे हुए, coming back from, coming from Odisha, settling here in Delhi like another field like
क्या डर था? वही चीज़ मैं आपसे I want to ask you.
It's unknown डर about maybe a language barrier. Barrier was there, and then maybe a fear of not expressing your ideas, or maybe a sense of cultural differences between the place and place. But now the students are over smart, and sometimes, but they're overconfident. They put them together. They must understand what to show to the gallery and what are the how they make their portfolios together. Separate their ideas, and it's very important to meet senior artists and show their artwork and explain their process and all that. But we also gone through the same process. After certain age, you became monotonous with a certain whatever you learn a skill until you have not got a proper exposure to the world.
The upcoming artist, how do they view commerce versus art? what should they balance it with? Some people are pure artists, they don't really care kya hoega. Some people are commercially extremely sound and maybe their artwork doesn't really sit on the top laurels. What is that balance?
See, if you are a good artist, the gallery will recognize you because they're out there, people are hardcore looking at art and understanding what the business model they can lay around, how they're going to promote. Because if you are a good practicing artist, you will get a chance to navigate around this art world. Making art is not enough because you have to brand yourself. I have selected particular artist, but he didn't get the chance. The other guy got a chance, but he's not good enough. But he's very articulate about his practice. But,
oh, interesting.
But an artist, I can see that the other artist is really good, but he got a more score because he articulated, he talked about his artwork. You have to be very expressive and talk about your art and be honest about yourself. That is very important. When I was in Japan, I was moving into different museums and looking at certain artwork drawings. In the museum I saw like almost looked like a mind drawing. So it gave me a lot of confidence that what the kind of language is evolving through me. It is something very special. So after returning from Japan '97, so I pursued that language furthermore. Then I started showing a different gallery. So finally I had an exhibition at the Hungarian Culture Center. A lot of artists they visited. Even first time I started selling my artwork there. 1,000 rupees, 1,500 rupees or something like that. So it's a very encouraging and all that. I thought after that I moved to London, and for 2-3 years I stayed there.
Japan, a lot of your art, and you've yourself spoken about it, Japan had large influence on how maybe your second stage of arts career kind of evolved. Is that what happened over the
Yeah, in '96 I applied for this Japan Foundation Fellowship program. My teacher told me, because there's a fellowship you should try. Then I prepared a proposal, he corrected all this proposal, underlined. I've been selected for that foundation fellowship. I'm the youngest one that received that time Japan Foundation Fellowship program. This is the first country. Before that I never visited any
first
country. Yeah. Visiting Japan was interesting because one part I understand larger aspect of Asian art and culture, and also window to Western art world, because a lot of artist work I used to, Picasso or Matisse, any artist used to sing in the photograph, but first time I encountered real work, like Louis Bourgeois' real work. Onkawara was a really important artist, seeing his retrospective there, and it's completely seeing it like a different world, and my approach to the art completely changed. 2005 onwards, till now also, I'm too much responsive towards my changing landscape around me, especially in Gurgaon, living there as an outsider, also participant in the same changes happening around me. It's a lot of inspirations and reflection come through my artwork. It's a very natural, and I created a series of artwork, and this is one of that, because it's a curved cross, almost looks like a flower or something, but if you deep look at it, it's a kind of car we can turn upside down, and it's cast into something.
The second one was mandala resonance.
It's basically the mandala's resonance is a very new artwork, space for a contemplation, or a space for the God, what we said, or a space for something utterly geometric, utterly mathematical. It's a Padma mandala, which is almost like a lotus. And also same time, the space, the city has itself as a mandala, its own sense.
Oh, interesting.
So I'll just try to bring these two narrative into one. So I try to bring that narrative into my painting.
Where does this house now?
So it was the part of there's a beautiful exhibition called Jan Shakti exhibition, and response to our Prime Minister Man Ki Baat 100 episode.
Oh, acha.
So this work is a part of it because we've been invited to showcase one of our artwork representing our Prime Minister's vision about the Northeast and its flora, fauna, and he was talking about let's say water conservation, forest conservation, youth empowerment.
I saw two of your artwork, Fatal Sublime and Mandala of Resonance. It's beautiful, the artist's mind. You came to Gurgaon and you heard of a car crash, you read about it, this came out. And then in Mandala of Resonance, you kind of focused on the city as a grid of energy by itself. I think it's fabulous. What are your new works looking like?
I'm making a series of artwork, which is going to see. There's a little secret about it.
Of course.
And I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot of sculptures, wall piece, painting, and that's going to be happening in Badera Art Gallery in December.
If I had to ask you to give gyan to the upcoming artists who are trying to break open into the main scene, what would be that life mantra you would tell them as someone who's been there for so long and done so much, been there? What would be that one life mantra you would give them?
I think it's very important that they should be very confident what they're doing and utterly honest about themselves. That's two things combination that are going to lead them long way to go.
How about grit and fight it up? And grit is important, isn't it? You have to be, I think, see, that's what I try to say, like when you get into business, you're automatically in aggro mode, right?
Yeah.
Aggressive. Artists are a little more gentle. Sometimes I think I see.
You don't need to be aggressive or this thing, because see, the kind of ideas you bring to the space that will lead it. Sanskrit sloka, there's a nice prayer called Divyam Dadami De Chakshu. You can chant it because artists need eyes to see.
Oh,
they
beautiful.
internalize. And this chant called Divyam Dadami De Chakshu is asking for the internalize, the cosmic eye that can see those other people cannot see. Only the artist can see it.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you for coming to the studios. We will see you at your show this year later.
Thank you.
Everybody
Thank you for inviting
invited.
me.